The deep taste and aroma of traditional Korean liquor combined with the flavor and beauty of Hansik or Korean food. Today, we introduce a special occasion where all of that came together in perfect harmony in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. Let's connect to our K-Correspondent there, Timothy Ouellette, CEO of SommWise Inc. Hello, Timothy.
Hello, Timothy.
How are you? And so a phenomenal mention of my name. People here even get it wrong. So that was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll say once more, Timothy Ouellette. Well, let's start off with a brief introduction of yourself and also what you do.
Absolutely. So I teach wine and spirits here in Ottawa. And our company teaches everything from the boring stuff like compliance and liquor laws. There's a lot of liquor laws here in Canada. But the fun stuff is what we're talking about today. So connecting people with these traditional drinks of certain nations, introducing them to things that they've never done before. And you mentioned that Ottawa was the capital of Canada. And luckily for us, that means the embassies are here, the trade commissions are here, and we get to work with those groups. We work with a lot of different governments so far. And so we worked with South Korea most recently, and it was fantastic. It was eye-opening. It's the best part of my job. So essentially, I'm a wine and spirits educator.
So you just mentioned working together with South Korea. So let's hear about that event you recently participated in, which was aimed at promoting traditional Korean alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, there was actually two events. So there was the general public event on the Friday, or sorry, there's the industry event on the Friday. So wine and spirits experts, yeah, there it is. We got 50 of them together. They were sommeliers. They worked at the government-run liquor store. Some media people were there as well, some winemakers. And so that was the big event on the Friday, where we went through 8 different drinks, traditional Korean drinks. That was fantastic. Everybody voted too, so you could vote with what you liked on your phone, like 1 through 5, and the scores were great. And the next day, the Saturday, we got to do the general public event. And this was organized by the Korean Cultural Center. There was there was like a cooking display. And we kind of made the information less nerdy because it wasn't for experts, you know. It was for people who had heard about Korean traditional liquors, Korean Soul, and wanted to try it and wanted to pair it with food. So 2 different events, and they were phenomenal because they showed the difference between the tastes of both sides. So the professionals, we've tasted everything. We're not shocked by anything, you know. So when you saw us drink 42% Soju, we're like, you know, it's part of the job. But then you see everyday people try that and they're kind of blown away. I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I can handle this. So it was really great to see what the general public wanted and what the experts wanted. So yeah, 2 events went incredibly well.
That's excellent to hear. Now, you did mention 8 alcoholic beverages and also some food. Let's get a bit more deep into that. Which alcoholic beverages did you try or did you introduce? And also tell us a bit more about the food as well.
I wish I could say more about the food, but I was working and pretty much everybody ate everything while I was working. So by the end, I got to have some dubu kimchi with some soju. It was a great pairing, but that was the only pairing I got, unfortunately. As for the drinks, we started off with an off-dry rosé. So the way our events works is the second you walk in the door, we hand you a glass of wine, and that's what we handed to people right away. It was this Galjasan Mountain Rosé. They walked in, there's all these Korean art installations around. They had their rosé. Then we moved on to Cheongju, Yakju, then 3 Makgeollis, and all of them were actually locally produced, which is pretty interesting. And then we moved on to 2 traditional Sojus, so they were 40 and 42% alcohol. One was made with rice, and one was with sweet potato, so you got to see the differences between those 2. We paired them with food you had on the side. We had 3 different food options. What you're seeing there on the screen, that was the next day, so there were a lot more food options that day. It was kind of more of a cooking demo. And the group there, we didn't want to overwhelm them with too many drinks, so they just had 3. They had the Yakju, the Makgeolli, and she's, I think, making the pancake there. And then we finished with a soju. So 8 products, you know, various background of things. We essentially tried everything I had ever heard of from Korea before, which was fantastic. So 8 different products, couple of food pairings. Wish I had more, but the second day I got to have the Makgeolli with the jun, the pancake, and that was fantastic because it was actually raining outside. So it was just perfect pairing, perfect weather for it.
Well, we're going to go deeper into the pairing in a bit, but I have to say it's very interesting to hear that soju being made also with sweet potato, because you hear a lot about sweet potato or chestnut makgeolli, but not a lot about sweet potato soju, for instance. So there, I guess, was really a variety of Korean traditional liquor. And yes, soju is also a traditional liquor. And also, we want to hear about traditional liquors having actually become quite popular in Canada in recent days. So how do you perceive that trend?
It's an interesting trend, and I hope it stays because this is a very trendy industry and you see things pop up and go away. But I think this is here to stay because I used to live out in the western part of Canada near Vancouver about 15 years ago. And that's when I started seeing soju on the shelves. I saw those little green bottles popping up everywhere. And that was out in Vancouver. When I came back to Ontario, it really wasn't on the market yet, but it started popping up first in Quebec, the French-speaking part of the country, because they're kind of more open to trying different things. And then the last 5 years, big in Ontario, big everywhere. It's mostly soju. Makgeolli is catching on a little bit, but it's almost exclusively soju. And because it counts as a spirit here, it's just at the government-run liquor stores. But when I was working there years ago, we would just see, you know, maybe one flavor, like grape, and then the regular soju, and that was it. And they started selling out all the time. I'm like, are they gonna, you know, get with the trend? Obviously, it's popular. We can't keep it on the shelves. And so it took a while, but you go into even the small stores now, and they've almost got full sections of soju. Tons of different flavors, producers from Korea, producers from Canada. I think there's some producers from the US too. It's incredible. There's lots of stuff on the shelves now, so it's full. Is it a good trend? Yeah, I think it's going at a great speed because I've seen a lot of things come and go. You see something go up too fast, and it crashes just as fast. But soju's got really good traction. I hope we can grab that traction. We can start to move towards some appreciation instead of just the entry-level stuff. We can start to move up to the good stuff too. And so it's picking up year over year. I'd say it's almost exclusively soju, but it was really nice to introduce people to the other things. They'd probably heard of Makgeolli, but maybe never had it before, and not even heard of yakju or cheongju. That was totally new to them. So the trend's good, it's solid, and we're working really hard to try and to capture it, to grab that traction and hold on and make sure that it sticks around.
That's excellent. You've kind of answered my next question, but let me try to twist it up a little bit for you. When we talk about North America and it comes to like Korean culture penetrating North American scene, we usually talk about the US, but obviously in Canada these days, it seems to be growing as well. There's a lot of Koreans moving to Canada as well, and more Korean restaurants as well as liquor stores are popping up. Are you noticing the fact that more Korean restaurants, more liquor stores, and the fact that Hallyu or the Korean wave is increasing in Canada itself? Can you see that yourself?
In restaurants, 100%. It's almost like I live out in the country. Every time I go downtown, there's like a new Korean restaurant. So the ones that you're seated at, they've got a lot of the traditional beverages. And so people are becoming more aware of it through that. So in the restaurant scene, 100%. I've even heard of people making mixed drinks with the products, you know, not bomb shots, that hasn't really caught on here, but they're making mixed drinks with soju. And it's really big there. People know about it. As for the stores, I mentioned we have issues with the grocery stores because soju can't get in there yet. We did work with a small Korean grocer here called Soulmart. And they have a few locally produced makgeollis, which is really nice to see. But it's few and far between for the grocery. So essentially right now, Are we seeing it big in restaurants? 100%. Are we seeing it really big in the government stores? Yes, but because of regulations, it's not really around in the grocery stores yet, which is new for us, even having alcohol in the grocery stores. I've heard that New York and California have a special exemption for soju because a lot of it's so low in alcohol. And even Quebec, right across the border here, does the same thing. The places where you can sell beer and wine, you can also sell soju. So hopefully that happens here too. And we can start seeing on the grocery store shelves and just let it foster, let it pick up, because it's big in the restaurants, and that's usually, the restaurants are where the trendy people are. So that's usually where things start.
It's great to see that development there. Now, Timothy, while Korean spirits are great on their own, they often shine even brighter when paired with good Korean food. So are Canadian consumers actually familiar with that combination of, for instance, Makgeolli and ton, as you mentioned, or Soju with samgyeopsal, for instance?
No. From what I can see right now, it's just restaurant people, which is okay. It'll catch on somewhere else. But I hadn't even heard the word jun before this. Everyone just calls them Korean pancakes. And so it's popular in those groups. But are people familiar with those pairings? No, but that's kind of what's exciting about this, is we get to introduce people to it. When at both shows we were doing the food pairings, people loved it, especially because they're so used to the typical pairings that they've heard a million times, you know, champagne and oysters. They were really interested in this, and the cultural elements of it, the pairing it with the weather, that's so cool. I've never heard of anything like that before. So are they familiar? No, but I think they're going to get familiar because they're getting familiar now with the foods. Korean fried chicken is huge here. The options are endless in the city. But if you ask the wine people, what do you pair with Korean fried chicken? They're going to say champagne. They're not saying traditional Korean stuff yet. So that's what we're working on, and I think it's going to work. It went so well. So it's not there yet. It's moving forward. It will get there. It's positive, but right now, no, the general public isn't. But the people in the industry are familiar with the pairings.
That's really great to hear. And as you just had these successful 2 events, probably you're going to have further similar events. And maybe in years to come, people will be more familiar with even the Korean style pairings with Korean traditional liquor. Well, thank you very much, Timothy, for connecting with us today, and keep in touch.
Thank you, Timothy.
Absolutely. So, Walter, thank you very much for having me. It was great.
Thank you. And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to see you back here next week.
See you next week.